A lot of ends, but also a lot of new beginnings. The end of a Tiger Woods career, the end of a Jaden Ivey with the Bulls. A lot of ends, but with ends come new beginnings and new chances, and hopefully some new faces and some great things in the future. So, Purdue ends up going down, losing by 15 points in the Elite Eight to Arizona, a game that at halftime was, in Purdue's hands, up seven at half or whatever. Maybe it was eight, I can't remember, but up, excuse me, up decent at half, and just couldn't hold it together, and really let down by some of these senior guys that have led them for 4 years. When it comes to shooting the ball, at least, I don't think it was an effort issue. Just the ball was not going in the basket. Your big three go 12 for 38. That's just not going to get it done in an Elite Eight game against a team of Arizona's caliber. So, what are your initial thoughts coming off this? We've had a couple days to reflect here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't have stats for halves, but we were 8 of 22 from three. And I think like every single one of those 8 was made in the first half.
Yeah, we were
Correct me
7
if
for
I'm wrong.
14 in the first half.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
The last
so
one was the last shot of the game by Fletcher.
right. And
Yeah.
like we talked about on the pod last time, we were gonna need to put about 15 of them bad boys home. And we were on pace to do it, and the score reflected that in the first half. And then we saw what we see from a lot of elite teams. Uh, Arizona has that other level, and they turned on that other level, and our guys did not have that other level. So that's what I've got from it. It was heartbreaking to watch them go down in that fashion in a game that we should have won. Oh, we got a surprise Joel.
Yeah,
What's up, Joe?
this is my real daughter, and yeah, she wanted to say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
What did you
What
think
up,
of the
Joe?
what did you think of the Purdue game?
I didn't watch it.
She didn't watch it. Not
She
a
was
basketball.
doing. She was making videos.
Were you doing cartwheels, making videos?
Yeah.
I had to ask her to please move.
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah,
Um,
just once that game.
yeah,
It's been throughout the season. It's been worse, but it's also not my house, so I feel rude as hell being like,
yeah. I mean, that
please.
game, I think for most Purdue fans was just like a tale of two halves. Like first half, everybody's like, "Holy shit, we can do this! Like we're gonna win this game. We're just dominating them all over the place." And then the second half comes, and I called it in the preview. Anybody who watched, I said I thought TKR was going to get in foul trouble because of all the hoopla around the game before, and that's what came to fruition. He got 2 fouls very early in the first half, and then got his third immediately starting the second half. And it just changes the trajectory of the whole game. He never could get in rhythm. He was kind of out of it the whole game a little bit. And it's hard to be in a game when you're constantly worried about being in foul trouble against the biggest team in America when it comes
Someone
to.
was also emotional during this game, and when we are emotional, as this said person sometimes gets, we go 5 for 14. You
Yeah.
know, it's like,
Yeah, it was just bad. I mean, we said it before the game, right? We had to shoot the ball well to win that game. And in the first half, you go 50% from three, 7-14. Yeah, you're in good shape. But it completely went away in the second half. And I think for me, the biggest thing that changed is we started letting them get in transition and play fast.
yeah.
And you just can't stop Arizona when that happens.
You know what this second half reminded me of a lot was the January 20th to January 27th Purdue, the one that lost on the road to UCLA, then followed by at home to Illinois, followed by an on the road loss to Indiana. They just the second half, the dog went away. The,
Yeah, and I mean, you got to credit Arizona. They had a lot to do with that. I mean, there was multiple possessions where Koa Pete comes down and just goes one on one against once against DJ, then against Oscar, turnaround jumper in their face, splash. There was just nothing we could do. They turned it up to another gear that Purdue just didn't have in this game, and I don't think that we had. Um, Jameson getting a little harsh here.
yeah, calm down, bro.
It's kind of hard to
Jeez.
win when the number one passer of all time in D1 basketball is throwing it to nobody. Yeah, he had a
He
couple
did
bad passes, and
3 times.
yeah, and it's been a theme, and this obviously isn't a hate session of the seniors at all. It's quite the opposite, but they didn't show up, in my opinion, in this game. You can't go 12 of 38 from your best three players, and expect to beat a team that's lost 2 times all year. And it was just ugly. Braden starts the game 3 for 4. Everybody's like, oh yeah. And then he goes 1 for 11 the remainder of the game. Fletcher starts out making a couple threes. He ends the game 3 for 8. TKR 5 for 14. It's just not good enough from the guys that you needed it to be good enough from. And, it's been obviously an incredible career, and we can speak on, each on what we thought that they were to this team. And, we're going to be candid here. Like, they're leaving now. We're going to move on, turn the page to a new group of guys. And, these guys will, as Dalton always says, we remembered as the almost. They almost won a national title. They almost beat Houston to go to an Elite Eight last year. They almost, they had the lead to go to another Final Four this year, but truth to be told, they just could not get it done when it mattered the most. And, that's not anything necessarily against them, as it is a testament to how good of the teams they played. But I said it on Twitter, once I just want to be the juggernaut. I want to stop the whole, we ran into a juggernaut. Why aren't we the juggernaut? Shouldn't we be weren't we supposed to be the juggernaut? What are your thoughts?
I do think it has to do with our personnel and our coaching, but that I'm way more critical now than I've ever been, just because of the letdown this year. Like, don't post Allen Iverson saying practice during the season and like, okay, cool, we went on a 4-game run in the Big Ten tourney, beat Michigan, who we weren't supposed to beat, which is a testament to how good these guys are. But when they're bad, they're bad. Mm-hmm. Like, we saw that against Arizona. It's like higher level of competition. I don't know what the mindset was in that second half coming out, but it wasn't the team from the first half or the Michigan game. Like, they're 3 of the greatest Purdue players of all time. They stuck it out in an era where they didn't have to. So it's not all critical, but it's frustrating. And it's always frustrating being a Purdue fan. It has been for all of eternity, just falling short constantly, and it's hard not to be jaded. It's really hard not to be jaded about it. And, I just don't ever tell me preseason that this is a year. Especially when it was in Indy, you had everything to fight for. And you let down for 20 minutes and gone,
Yeah. I mean, and just watching the second half, like, the players got to make the shots, obviously. But there's 8 minutes to go in the game, and we have Omer and Jakari in the game. And I'm going, this is it, dude. Why are the seniors and CJ not the ones in the game? And that I was getting so mad at the rotations by Painter. People can scream foul trouble all they want. Well, you know what? Screw foul trouble. Like, this is the last game of the season if you don't win the game. So I could care less about foul trouble. Fletcher ends up with 4 fouls. So what? He should have had 5. That's my thought. TKR ends up with 4. So what? He should have had 5. Why were these guys not in the game? Why were we not putting every effort possible to win this game? Because it didn't feel like it to me. It felt like we're going to keep playing this rotation game. We're not going to call timeouts when they're on runs. We're going to go away from what got us there in the first half. We shoot like 7 threes in the second half after going 7 of 14 in the first half. We stopped getting the ball inside. We were letting Trey run around and throw up crazy shots. Like, at some point, Painter has to be accountable. And I'm not at all part of the fire Painter crew. That's not even close to what I'm saying here. My point is, he has to adjust. His style of coaching has to change, because I watch these other teams play their best players the entire second half of these games that are important. But Purdue won't do it. And I don't care about fouls. If Fletcher fouls out, then we can sub, okay? I don't care that Fletcher has 4 fouls. He's a smart player. He'll figure it out. And if he fouls out, he fouls out. So what? But to me, having some of these other guys in these insanely huge moments, you're talking about freshmen. Freshmen, when you have seniors on this team who have been there, you're playing freshmen. It's just mind-boggling to me, and I blame Painter so much on this. Not necessarily the loss, because I think we just got outplayed and he couldn't change 15 points, but I blame him for allowing it to get to a point to where the loss was approachable. Because for a long time, all we had to do in this game was continue doing what we were doing, play our best players, and I think we hang in there long enough that who knows what happens at the end. But instead, he's throwing freshmen out there who have no clue what's going on, making mistakes. And, I get foul trouble is a thing. I get it. But did it matter when you were down 15 with 5 minutes left? Did the fouls matter then? They didn't, because the game was already over. And that's where I get, not everybody might agree with that, but that's just my take on it. I don't know how you feel about that side of things, but it was very frustrating to me.
Yeah, the whole situation's frustrating, and I'm really glad. Honestly, like love the seniors. Wish them all the best, but I'm so happy that we're finally turning over a new leaf. It's almost refreshing at this point. I think guys got away and got, preferential treatment based on who they were and what they had done 2 years ago, not on what they were doing now or how we were performing. Because there's a lot of minutes this year where Asta Pine may not have been the worst choice. Don't start a game, ruin your start streak. Might not have been the worst choice. We talked about it this year on the pod. And we were, to be fair, we're critical, and I'm always critical, but these guys get paid now.
Yeah.
You get paid. You go to a public university, you're on scholarship. So essentially, the taxpayers are paying for your degree while you're getting paid. So to be critical without being a psychopath, like a lot of people on Twitter are, is a different thing. When I say critical, it's calling out mistakes. It's holding accountability to our players, which I don't believe our coaching staff did this year. Like, ass to the fire, like you saw, we talked with UConn on Sunday, and it's like down 17 to, quote unquote, the best team in the country.
Yeah.
And they somehow come back. We couldn't even hold a 7-point lead.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think, like, UConn was down 15 at half and wins that game, so they win the second half by as much as we lost it by. And it all comes down to, like what you mentioned. I talked to my dad about it. He disagrees because he and I'm the same way, but he truly hates Dan Hurley. But, like, I'm like, you know what, though? I hate Dan Hurley's antics. I hate how he acts. Sometimes I hate what he says. But when push comes to shove, his players are accountable. Like, they are 100% held accountable at all sides. And sorry about that. Sorry about that, Rickus. You came in too late and we weren't ready. But yeah, 100%. Like, I just think that Purdue moving forward, like, we have a completely new class and this is going to be a very different team. And I think that it's got to change. Like, you got to start letting guys beat other guys. It can't just be, well, this is Fletcher's spot no matter what. Braden's going to play 38 minutes no matter what. How about if Braden isn't performing in a specific game? This isn't like we're going to bench Braden for a month. In a specific game, if Braden's not performing, sit his ass on the bench. You brought Omer here for a reason. If Fletcher's not performing, sit his ass on the bench. If TKR is throwing his hands around and acting like a fool, sit him on the bench. Like, I guess I just don't understand, like, how Painter talks so much about accountability and knowing your role and all of this stuff. But then when it comes to certain guys, not everybody, Jakari can go hit 3 threes in a row and he's getting pulled. But certain guys have all this leeway because of what they've done previously. Well, I'm sorry, we live in a world of what have you done for me lately, not what have you done for me 3 years ago. If I tried to bring that up to my boss, he'd be like, I don't give a shit what you did back in November. What'd you do in April? Like, that's how work is. That's how life is. And I think we got to a point with those seniors, and I'm going to get to, like, what I think about them from a positive standpoint. But, like, to me, we got to a point with those seniors where they were being given such a long runway that they never felt that pressure of needing to perform. Like, there's something to be said about knowing the guy behind you is standing there waiting on you to fail so that he can get his shot. And that's what these big blue blood programs have. Like, they start all these 5-stars and they got 5 more on the bench. And if you screw up, they got another guy waiting. And if you get injured even, they got a guy waiting to come take your spot. And I think Purdue has that kind of depth. They just refuse to use it. And that's why we see so many Purdue players, in my opinion, not make that second and third year leap, because they've been stuck. And when you finally give somebody like that their chance, they aren't ready to take it because they're like, they're too scared to make a mistake because every mistake they've ever made has resulted in them not playing.
Yeah,
So that's my rant on that whole situation.
No, it's Ask the Pine. Yo, Rickus, thanks for coming out, dude. This isn't a real fun episode. That's why we waited so fucking long. Like,
yeah, I didn't expect a huge turnout on an episode after a loss.
Right.
You know, it's
right. It's always tough, but we're showing up. Thank you for showing up. Love you too, bro. You've supported us all year through the thick and thin, man. So we appreciate you. We've all become a little tighter this year, and we hope to add more folks to that. Maybe next year we start up something where we can just chat with you guys during games and whatnot. But to be seen. It was a tough loss. It sucked. Not to take away from any of the Big Three's accomplishments. Great. Like they walk so we could run. Type of deal. It's kind of like Carson. Like these guys set the precedent for the next level of Purdue. Like now it's expected. It was expected when we had Haas and Swanigan and Carson, and like it was a little less expected. And now it's like win or
now we're pretty much at every year's a Final Four bust.
Right. And it's got to be, though. I mean, how many, like, Painter's going into, like, 21, 22 years? Mm-hmm. So it's like, are you Gene Katie over again? Like, should we lower that expectation? Are you never going to win one? Like, right. Or, like, stop pumping us full of these expectations then, or, and I think this year was just like you said, like, guys just, they needed a wake-up call, and it never came, man.
Yeah.
I feel like late season, the foot went off the gas, and it's really hard to carry momentum into March like that. I guess we can, if you want to, we can run down through, like, team stats from this year. Just thoughts on players.
Yeah, and we can kind of hit each player, and then even talk about ones that'll be back. I did want to hit this. Sounds better, but I'm ready to talk about. Sounds bad, but I'm ready to talk about next year. Yeah, and we're gonna get there, and we're obviously gonna have some of these off-season episodes. Jameson,
we got a lot of off-season, bro.
Yeah, if we had Edey, we would have won that game, probably. Yeah, that's what Edey does.
Yeah.
We won a lot of games with that guy, but yeah, we can run through each individual player and use that time to kind of go on our little like rants about the senior class and then what we might think is coming from these guys as they take a step toward the next year. So you started off with whoever you want.
We'll just kick it off with the top of the list. Braden Smith, the GOAT of point guards. 345 assists this year. It's really something to talk about. Another stat that's incredible for a small 6-foot guy in college basketball is 138 rebounds. The concerning stat for him this year would be the 177. 64 out of 177 from three.
Yeah, and his turnovers seemed high this year. At least he had some high games.
He had his second highest rate of turnover in his career this year.
Yeah.
Only last year was worse with I would say a lot less of a team behind. I mean, obviously he had, TKR in them, but last year was tough, man. And that's crazy to me that we almost made the Elite Eight last year. Looking back on it and who we played in the team we had last year, like they had a lot of dog in them last year. And really you don't see that until you come back around on it. But 8.8 assists, 14.3 points per game on 34 and a half minutes this year. So a great year for Braden, our leader. Gonna miss him. Just don't think it was all put together this year for him. I think his sophomore year was his pinnacle.
Yeah. I mean, I would say last year was the best year I saw from him because he was it. I mean, TKR was great, but it was Braden's team. And this year just felt a little sloppier all around. But I mean, the guy ends his career with 1,103 assists, breaks the all-time assist record, breaks the all-time 4-year minutes record. I mean, he scores nearly 1,900 points in his career to go with 1,100 assists and like 600 rebounds. I mean, he clearly is one of the most probably the greatest player that had the least expectation coming in that's ever played college basketball. Him or Zach Edey. Like literally Purdue has the two of the top 3 or 4 greatest players ever that didn't have expectations. Yeah. Hey, Rickus, I see your comments. We're going to kind of try to keep this somewhat in a structure, but we will get to this stuff and we'll bring them back up, the comments back up with the Ertl talk and some of this other stuff. We're going to get to that here after we get done here. But yeah, to me, Braden, just the epitome of what I think of when I think of Purdue basketball. Just, a kid who had to work harder than everybody else to get where he was. I think this year a lot of distractions got in the way, and then the noise got really, really, really loud as things got more and more difficult as the season went on and Purdue struggled. When you come in as the number 1 preseason team with National Player of the Year preseason tag on you, and it doesn't work out pretty obviously by like January, I can only imagine the pressure in the loudness of the disappointment surrounding that pressure. And, for me, it's still pretty awesome what he was able to do this year, even through all that noise. And what he's done through his career has been truly special. And he's going to go down as one of the all-time greats that's ever played basketball at Purdue University. And will never be forgotten in that realm. He took Purdue to their first Final Four. Whether you call it Edey or him, he was the point guard on that team. And without him, we would not have been there. He also was part of the only one of 2 teams ever lose to a 16 seed. So, I mean, there's good and there's bad. That's kind of the story of Braden's career was there's been a lot of ups and there's been a lot of downs, but through it all, he's played every single game, and that's hard. Just to think of anybody that's played 4 years of basketball to never miss a game between him or Fletcher is absolutely crazy. Like to not even miss one game with an ankle, with a sickness, with anything is absolutely absurd to me. But yeah, man, Braden Smith, he did a lot for my son as far as getting into basketball. And I'll be forever grateful for him to that because he truly loves Purdue and he truly loves basketball now. A lot of because of Braden Smith. And without Braden Smith, I don't know if that ever would have happened. So for me, it's pretty serious to say goodbye to Braden. And it's going to be weird, when the season rolls out and there's no Braden Smith on the floor. It's going to be a weird feeling. But like you said, one I'm looking forward to because we haven't had a new guy at the point guard in 4 seasons. There hasn't been a single guy start at point guard in 138 straight games. So there's some positiveness to that too. But if you have anything else on him, feel free, or we can roll on to the next guy.
Nope. Just with this, it was the highs or the lows. That's what this team was, man. There was the pinnacle or the pendulum swung every game. Yep. And I never felt safe with this team. Some teams just have that murder instinct. And
yeah, you see it with Arizona, with Michigan.
I never felt like the big 3 had that. It was always like, which team are we getting today? Right. And I feel like it's felt like that for a long time.
Yeah. Like even with Edey.
We might lose to Rutgers, or we might be whoever they put in front of us. That's got to come from the top.
Well, and I think that's a good point because Edey was the only time we ever, with these guys, had a consistent presence. It was always Edey, right? Everything was going through Edey. We knew how the game was going to play out. If we lost, it was because other guys probably didn't do their job, right? Now once he left, it came down to these guys, and they just never had the consistency. Fletcher always went through a season or a month and a half long slump. Braden always had games with 6 to 8 turnovers. It was just never the consistent, everyday presence. Okay, that's my thought on that whole thing. But what about Fletcher, man? What are your career thoughts? He sets another record.
Yeah, I'll kind of jump on his season real quick. 14.1 points per game. He shot 43% from 3, so really good Fletcher year when he turned it on. Just kind of felt like he disappeared some moments, just like normal. In big game Fletch, was big in big games, and then he was non-existent in others, and that's been the story of Fletcher's career. Fletcher probably my favorite out of the big 3 just because the dude, is comedic relief. Everything he does is funny, taking a chair from the Final Four, just shit that we would do as normal folk. He's just a regular Fort Wayne kid, bro. And that's what I've always loved about Fletcher. He never got a big head. He was never arrogant, but you'd see it on the floor. Like the funny shit he did, like looking at the back of somebody's jersey, acting like he didn't know who the hell it was. Like they hadn't scouted the shit out of this kid. Like just Fletcher was by far my favorite, and he took the most heat of anybody from our fan base just because like his body build wasn't built for defense. Like
Right.
he had the effort, he had the smarts. Probably one of the smartest players I've ever watched come through college was Fletcher Loyer. Like he will be like hopefully he's on staff once
Right.
PJ goes. Like I could see Fletcher being a guy. Like love Fletcher. Sad that he is going. Really sad about that. Just a good kid, man. A good program kid. Obviously, he could have went elsewhere, played elsewhere, wherever he wanted to. One of the best 3-point shooters in the country, and gonna miss the dude.
Yeah, well said. And if anybody didn't know, Fletcher is going to be in the 3-point shooting contest for college basketball. So you get to see him one more time. Kind of cool that he got asked to do that and accepted it. It's not something I actually thought that he would do. Yeah, I think he's saying that on TV they said that Braden had the record for all consecutive starts, but he couldn't break it unless Fletch missed a game. Yeah, James said if you're going to leave comments, but you got to get the wording or spelling at least half correct here.
Context, my brother.
But yeah, the 3-point contest, Fletcher will be in that, so keep an eye out for that. When that, I don't remember. I think that's
when is it, dude? Look it up.
I'm not looking it up.
Google's free.
Yeah, it's free for everybody too, not just for me.
No, mine's broken.
Yeah, Fletcher. You said it. I mean, this is a guy that I think, if we're all being honest, every Purdue fan at some point wanted Fletcher on the bench throughout his career. Everybody just got tired of Fletcher at one point or another. By the end of his career, at least for me, this whole season, I said, there's no chance that I'm going to ever say that all year about Fletch. And I think that he's one of the best players that's ever come through Purdue, one of the most underappreciated people that's ever played for Purdue basketball. I mean, this is a guy who every year of his career averaged, I think 10 or close to 10 or more points. He was such a consistent, like we talk about inconsistency throughout a season, but if you look broadly, he was such a consistent player. He had months where they weren't great, but overall, you could always rely on Fletcher to do the right thing on defense, to pressure the other team's defense by being just such a threat from the outside, the spacing that he provides. And just like you said, he's just a clown. And a guy who, in my opinion, once you learn how he is, hilarious to the media, just does not talk to them, doesn't say anything to them. Like, and if he does, it's like pure coach speak. Like, we got to be better. We're terrible. We're the worst team that's ever existed. Like, you can just tell he's a clown. But I'm really gonna miss Fletcher. He's probably out of the big three. Like you said, the one guy that I'm like, man, I wish he could get another year. Like, I would love to have Fletcher back for another year. It's just, I mean, it's not gonna happen, but it would be awesome. Sad to see him go. Breaks the all-time 3-point record, 309 career threes. I did think it was so fitting that the last play of the game was a Braden Smith pass off a TKR screen to a Fletcher Loyer corner three. It was almost like emotional to watch, like that's how it all ended, And of course Fletcher bangs it because, like, what else is he gonna do? Like, he ain't gonna miss that. And a fitting way to end their careers. And they will be forever paired together, Fletcher Loyer and Braden Smith. I know TKR was with him, but it will never be the same. Fletcher Loyer and TKR and Braden Smith will always be talked about in twos. It will always be the two of them and their career and what they did and the amount of starts they had and all their accolades. It's never going to be Braden or Fletch. It will always be Braden and Fletch. And that's just not something you get to see, and we probably won't see very many times ever again. Maybe if ever again, to be honest, in the history of college basketball. So shout out Fletch, man. Really, really loved covering Fletcher Loyer, and we'll be sad to have to cover somebody else, but Purdue's got guys on the way. So moment of silence for Fletcher.
He's fine, dude. Chill out.
I know, but it's sad, man. It is sad to see Fletcher go.
It is sad. I mean, it's sad every year. It's always, that's the worst part of college basketball is like there's no retirement. There's just 4 years and you're done. It's not like a pro team. where they might play for 14 years.
Right.
Like it's 4 and done. Then you might never watch them play again.
4 and
It's
done
like
if
Isaac
you're
Haas.
lucky.
We interviewed Isaac Haas. Last time I ever watched him play was in college, bro. I mean, it just is what it is. It sucks, and it's the nature of the beast that we cover, man. It's like, you're done once they're gone. Like
Yeah.
Carson, I can honestly say I've watched highlights of Carson, one of the best to ever go through Purdue. I've never watched a full game of FC Bayern or whatever the hell sponsorship they have, airlines, Emirates or what. I've never watched them. I mean, I'm sure it'd be fun to watch, but
All right,
just
hit us with
not on
Trey.
my-
Hit us with Trey.
Trey.
Jameson, hold on a second. Jameson, we will talk about Cluff when we get to Cluff.
Cliff,
That's
dude.
and it's Cluff, buddy. CLUFF, not I.
Old Cliff was a great guy. Smoked
yeah,
Pill Mills.
Jesus. Let's go to Trey here.
Trey. TKR, man. I don't know. Oh, what can we say about Trey? Just probably carried us last year. Just all around Purdue guy. Got a little fired up. Had a fire about him. Probably something this team needed more of. I don't know. Trey kind of, to me, embodied the fight that Purdue is supposed to have, and I think he was the only one that really had that dog about him, the killer that would come out, and it bit him in the ass sometimes. Sometimes it paid off with 26 and 12, like it was either that or that for Trey. This year, okay, 14.2 per game. He did increase his rebounds that everyone was worried about at the beginning of the year. 8.3 a game this year. Hit a couple threes, so a different side of Trey. The push shot wasn't as good this year, but I don't know. Trey is Trey. A 5-year Purdue guy. We had him for 5 years, so it's gonna be a lot different without him down low, man. Everything's gonna be different next year, but still exciting, and Trey will be missed as well. I think he'll go down as one of the greats of Purdue all time as well, on like a Swanigan level.
Yeah. Yeah, Rick, I'll get to why I wore this hat today. We all know, but I got a whole bit here. Anyway, Trey, for me, if I pick one word for Trey, it's sacrifice. Like, this is a guy, one, who sacrificed originally when he got here by redshirting. Then he sacrificed 2 years of his career sitting behind Edey, playing behind Edey, battling with Edey every day in practice. Then he gets his junior year and gets 20 points a game. He's the man. He's the go-to guy. And then he comes back this year and has to sacrifice again, and come from a 20-point-a-game guy to a 14, 13-point-a-game guy. But then we saw it come back kind of in the end of the year where he's like, okay, I got to score again. We need it. And to me, Trey is just one of those guys that's always going to go down in the Purdue lore of like a Purdue guy. Like you mentioned, like he just does things the right way. He's a very intellectual, thoughtful fella. And yeah, I mean, that tip in will always be a big thing. What is that, Houston? We have a problem. Oh yeah. That's
from the Final Four year, bro. The
Yeah.
exponent.
Yeah, I mean, he's a legend at Purdue.
No, that was last year, actually, wasn't it? Houston.
No, Houston. The year we went, wasn't it in Houston? The Final Four?
No, this was 2025, so this would have been last year. So this
Oh.
would have been, dang it. I
would've
did
been-
have
Yeah,
I
that
got
would've been
everyone's
before.
autograph here.
Yeah.
I'm cool, man.
Yeah. So
I'm
cool.
Super cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
Actually,
I'm gonna miss Trey. I think Trey is one of the most he sacrificed a ton, man. This guy could have had such a crazy career somewhere else. Like he could have went somewhere else and had 4 years of 20 points a game. And I hope he gets a chance somewhere, whether it's the NBA or overseas. You're just sharing the same stuff I've already shared, but
I like it.
I do too. But yeah, I think that he's. I hope he gets a chance to play professionally. Um, that's
I
all I'll say.
I think he'll be a Europe ball guy. He's got to develop like an 18-footer. I don't know why we didn't work on that this year. Like, you know how deadly that would be.
I wonder
Like,
if he's got
and
one.
that's it's another thing that like I got it something about, and the people listening aren't gonna like this. We don't develop players into NBA talent. We develop them into the
Purdue
process.
talent. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and that's like, I'm not an NBA fan, but I think these guys should be given the best chance to go to the next level and without having to be a generational talent like Zach Edey. Like, we lost one there, already lost one, but I'm being real. It's like, man, you watch people digress in our program. Like, watch Ethan Morton.
like you said, we develop them into Purdue system players, not NBA players.
Yeah, and I'm like, there's got to be a balance there, obviously. Like, yeah, you can have your system, but Dan Hurley has his system. Guys still go pro from there. And it's like, you play to the strengths of your players at the same time, though. Are you growing them into anything else? Like,
right. Yeah,
or do they have to come like Swanigan equipped with a 18 to 20 footer as a big man to get off the block? Like, is that it? Like, I don't know, man.
Well, yeah. When has Purdue ever had a true, like, maybe since Jawan Johnson has not had a shooting big?
Right.
Like, you can say Harms. Harms was he shot it, but I don't think he ever was told to shoot it. Like,
I'll say Biggie. Biggie pulled up from mid.
Yeah.
And he was
But
buttered,
again, you mentioned, that's a generational player.
And he came out of the box like that. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't developed. And that's like, at the end of the season, you always have these questions. It's like, but to me, it's like, how much better are these guys getting towards a goal of the next steps? Or is it all about get your degree, which that's fantastic. Get your degree, you have a fallback. But at the same time, how many guys have went through our system that essentially could have gone pro if they had been developed and didn't have to go somewhere else to find that? Like, that's kind of my question.
You watch Miles Colvin now scoring 30 points in games.
And it's like Ethan Morton, like shooter in high school, like good shooter. Go back and watch the tape on him, like a very good scorer. And then he turns into a cone on offense. Like, that's the kind of regression that I'm concerns me. It's not going to change. And it's always going to be the process and the system. But it's like, I think as a fan, I'm allowed to discuss these things.
Oh, 100%.
And without really ruffling the feathers or saying anything negative, but it's questions that I have. Like, I know Omer Mayer's good enough to go pro, but will he progress enough? Like, he's the epitome of a great point guard in the NBA, a 6'4" big dude. He can handle bodying. But will he progress within our system enough to get to that point?
Yeah, I mean, Rick has kind of said it. Edey could shoot, but that isn't the best shot. Purdue takes the best shots, not always the shots a player can make. That's on the players, though. So you had me, and then you lost me, because it's not like, you have to understand what Painter does. He's done it his whole career. If you take the shots he doesn't think are good shots, and like, you don't play, like, you will come out of the game. Like, that's how he operates. Like, when the only exceptions to that rule have been Carson Edwards and Jaden Ivey, because they were so good that you couldn't take them out of the game because you would be fired. And that was also earlier in his career. Like, Brandon Newman, Miles Colvin. We've had a lot of these guys that had a NBA talent. Wheeler, Waddell even. These guys came into Purdue with NBA level talent. They left Purdue with zero NBA level talent. You can call that a player problem. To me, that is a development problem. You're trying to turn guys that are athletes, that are scorers, that are rim runners into positional, strategic pawns in a game you're playing on the floor. There are certain guys you just can't do that with. You think that Shire is telling Boozer, like, hey, don't take that shot. No.
Don't dribble the ball.
Yeah, don't dribble the ball. You're a big guy. You think that BYU is telling DeBonsa, like, hey, don't shoot that 32-footer with a guy in your face. No, shoot it. You're the best player on the court. You get to shoot the ball. That I tell that to my son all through all of his like life playing basketball so far. You want to take more shots? Become the best player on the floor, because the best player on the floor gets to take all the shots. If you're not the best player on the floor, you default to that guy. Like, you've got to recruit talent and then use the talent that you recruit to the best of their ability. And I think sometimes we play too far within the system. Player regressing. Well, yeah, I see what you're saying. But to me, like, I don't think it's a work ethic problem. I think it's like you either fit the system that Painter's built and you're going to play the role he tells you. Like, he talks about role definition.
Role definition.
He talks about it all the time. If you don't want to play within his role definition, you won't play. And that's why we see guys never take that jump. Like Jakari. I think Jakari could be a lot better than he is if you allow Jakari to drive to the basket, to run. But that's never going to – like, it'll be a huge thing next year to see with the three guards that we're going to have, Meyer, Ertl, West, and Cox, if he lets them play basketball. Because those are hoopers. Those are dudes that can go get buckets at any time. So you've got to do that, or else you're going to have problems. So,
yep. Let's dive into the last senior, who I'm going to miss tremendously. We only got a short period with him. Always hate that. We get these grad transfers like Lance. We get Evan Boudreaux, who I sent you the other day. Yeah. Evan Boudreaux, baby. That's a callback right there. That's a true Purdue fan callback. Evan Boudreaux, the hairless man. But anyways, Oscar Cluff, just what a treasure, man. What a year with him. A lot of hit or miss with him, just figuring things out at this level. It is a big level jump. Not everybody takes the Yoxel approach and just goes nuclear. It was a lot of progression through the season for Oscar and a lot of tough times, and he took a lot of heat from our fan base, like a lot of nasty heat, like that maybe, there's a lot of psychos on Twitter, whatever. We get it. We saw a guy pretending to be TKR. There's some weirdos on Twitter that will do anything for clicks, and like some of the shit they said, obviously Cluff's mom had to get off of Twitter. Like, do we really want to be that way? Like, I don't like I said, there's a line between being critical and being a dumbass. Like, and a lot of people on Twitter cross that line. I try not to as much. I'm guilty of it in the past, but Oscar had a great year. And he will go down as one of my favorite transfers of all time, like top of the list. I just always was cheering him on. If you go back and watch any episodes, I'm sure everybody here is fans, but it's like, I don't know. He was my favorite man. I just loved everything about him, his attitude, his nonchalantness, like his ability to just bully people, like, and just be like, laugh about it afterwards. He was always laughing on the floor. Seemed like when everyone else was serious, Oscar was kind of having fun, whatever. We might need more of that. It's not always so serious. Like, if you looked at the Arizona guys, they were having fun. And that's what I think Cluff brought to this team, was like fun on the floor, even when things were going shitty. And you need that guy. Great rebounder, great footwork, great big man. He was, pretty much everything I wanted him to be this year. And I'll definitely miss this guy and miss his Cluff. If you ever catch this clip, we really appreciate the interaction we had with you this year. Hopefully you stay a Purdue fan and we can, communicate throughout the years. You're a true treasure. It was awesome to see you on TV there supporting him. So that was really cool for us.
Yeah, we feel you, Henry. I can't add a lot. I mean, that was very well said about Oscar. The only thing I'll add is something you mentioned. Like, to me, Oscar Cluff, when it looked like it wasn't very fun anymore, I always thought Oscar Cluff was out there having a good time. And I think that was a big hiccup with this team, is the seniors did not ever seem to be enjoying their senior year. Like, it seemed everything was a grind. It was forced. It was pressure filled. Like, it needed to be relaxed. It needed to be like, what else do we have to prove? We're just here to play ball. And that's how Oscar plays, man. He comes out there. He like you said, he's laughing out there. He says some wild shit in interviews after the games. Like, he's just a fun guy, and I think he likes to have fun on the basketball court. And I wish more of Purdue was like that. I'm hoping some of these new guys coming in are going to be more of like the let's have fun on the court type of team, because those teams always do well. Like and I hate this team, but you watch Michigan in post games, pre games, they're clowning around. Like as a ball guy myself, I'm like, dude, I would be furious as their coach. Like, get in the zone. But like, that's who they are. You got to let kids be kids. As Blake joins the show, what up, Blake?
What up, Blake?
Hey, fellas.
Hey, we got to. He came here to process some emotions with us.
All right.
Yeah, but with Cluff, it's just a matter of like, I just feel like I wish everybody on the team all year embodied that Oscar Cluff joy that he brought to every game, and looked like they were having fun on the court, because there was a lot of times this year that it didn't look like they were having fun, which in turn means I'm not having fun. Everybody looked frustrated, kind of mad at each other, and then Cluff's out there just smiling, running around, grabbing rebounds, and just a joy to have him for a year. And we were very lucky that we got him in the Blake gets on. All of a sudden, we got to start playing jokes. But yeah, appreciate Oscar Cluff. And, Henry, I don't know if this is a callback, Henry, or if you did this by accident, but Oscar Cliff is a national treasure. My son kept calling him Cliff the whole episode so far. When are we going to talk about Oscar Cliff?
Cliff, baby.
So, quote of the day again by Henry there to start off. Yeah, Blake, how you feeling, man? We've talked about the big three and Oscar, so feel free to run through your thoughts and emotions and whatever you need to talk about.
Yeah, I missed the show. I didn't realize you guys started live. Just got home from work, and I just wanted to hop in and chat with you guys a little bit.
Do your monologue, bro. What do you got? What do you feel?
Oh, man,
Give your senior class monologue.
My senior class monologue. Man, thankful for those guys. Like, thankful for them. Nothing to hang our heads about. Nothing for them to hang their heads about. You just rewind a year ago and think about what they could have done after that Sweet 16 loss to Houston. They could have gone their separate ways.
Yeah.
They could have made a lot of money doing it. They chose to come back. They did it for us. They did it for themselves. They did it for Purdue. Ever grateful for them. So shout out senior class, the big three. We'll never have a group of three of those guys that come in and go out together like that. And TK was a red shirt, but started his freshman year playing with those guys. Fletch and Braden started day one. Never played a game at Purdue coming off the bench. That's crazy. A couple of us were talking the other day about that year, and the starting lineup only had three constants: is Fletch, Braden, and Edie. The fourth and fifth starters rotated in and out. We never really quite found what we needed. And that showed up. In the NCAA tournament. We never quite found our mojo that year. Sophomore year, we make a natty run. Incredible. We'll always have it. Never gonna forget it. It's always gonna be there. Won another one so bad. Not content at all with one. Need another one. Thought we were gonna get it this year. Halftime, man. I was so fired up. I picked Arizona to beat us in my bracket. I thought we were gonna win it at halftime, and like TK didn't even have a good half. Right? He was in foul trouble early, and yet we were so good with him on the court. I was like, TK comes back second half, it's going to be like how we closed out the Michigan game. We're going to get this up to double digits, and we're going to have a moment like Braden's and one against Mara where he flexes, and I was like, we're going to have that moment in the second half, and we're going to know we're going to Indy. And then, 45 seconds into the half, TK picks up that foolish third foul, man, and like, I hate that TK went out that way because, man, I love that guy. He left it all on the court. He fought, but he just was not able to contain himself, was not able to get centered and focus. And, like, that's true of both Braden and TK. And then Fletch just was made irrelevant. Like Zona was holding him on every screen, every flare, every zoom action. They're holding him. He couldn't get separation, and like he fought. I don't think Fletch did anything that he couldn't have done. He did everything he could do. It just Arizona's so good, man. Shout out senior class. I don't regret anything. I'm not disappointed. I'm disappointed, but like I'm proud. And so that's all a monologue on the senior class. Love those guys forever. Cluff, that's where you guys are at now. Just jump in. I had a take when I saw one of his first interviews. I think it was Newbert did the interview, but anyways, he said some stuff raw on camera, that just made everybody laugh. And I was like, okay, like I think Cluff can be Lance Jones and can be this guy that brings this goofy funniness. And like it turns out, I think it took Oscar too long to come out of his shell.
Yeah.
I think if we got him back next year, it'd be amazing. I think he was learning so much basketball wise. I think he was learning so much about what it means to compete at this level as an athlete, about taking care of your body, about doing all the little things, that he would see Fletch and TK and Braden do. And I think we started seeing those benefits just now. Yeah, but I think it took him 6 to 8 months to like realize what goes into elite level athleticism. The dude's a welder, he welds, like that's what he did. And he came in and worked his way through college systems that were okay but not great. And like I think it was a wake-up call for him. And we saw flashes. I was actually able to be there in Mackey Arena for the alumni game and the little scrimmage they did. Saw some flashes of what we could see from Oscar, was super excited. And we got it, here and there in the non-con. But I think like ramping up to the high-level war on him, I think the intimidation of playing bigger front courts, discouraged him. And I think he felt bad. And by the end of the season, he's back there. So I don't know. If we could get Cluff back next year, it would be incredible. I don't expect that. But I think it goes to show that bringing in portal guys and getting them to click and sync and do that is not the easiest thing to do, especially if they're not coming from high major programs already. And so to the coaches that have been able to do that, like hat tip to them, because it's impressive, I think. And I think Painter will get better at doing that. I think Purdue staff will get better at doing that.
Right.
And we're going to have to keep doing it. So I'll stop there and just, yeah.
I got to highlight one Cluff game here I just found on Kim Palm. I was running through stats looking for like something that just kind of explained how I felt about Cluff all year, dude. I've been on the train, dude. I think he was my MVP, like, I don't know, 20 games this year. I was just looking for him to go off. This was him. Marquette game. The dude is 22 points, 9 of 9. 4 for 4 from free throw with 11 boards, 1 assist, 2 blocks, and 2 steals. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I was screaming it from the day I heard we signed him. I think I was screaming it before we signed him. Like, when he went on the market, I was like, this is our guy. And, yeah, I mean, it's not looking good for the second year based on other cases that have been.
There's a new one that just got pushed.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be settled on like April 6th.
They're shutting them down mostly, which I don't know. It kind of pisses me off that Yoxel is like the same class as guys that have been in the NBA for 4 years, but at the same time, would I like to have Cluff back? Yeah. Maybe I'll be a little hypocritical there.
Yeah, and I think I like what you said, Blake, about just what he did and learned through that time and being ready at the end. Because if you notice, Painter said it multiple times this year that he just didn't have enough in the tank to play more than 20 to 22 minutes. And then by the end of the year, you saw his body start changing. And he was slimming down, and he started playing 28, 32 minutes. And you're probably right. I think he was in a conference and playing for a team where he could be a little out of shape. The game was a little slower and a little less physical. And when he got to Purdue, it it wasn't going to be realistic for that to be the case anymore, and he had to change that. So really, really excited for the idea that he could come back, but also just really happy that he was a Boiler, because he embodied a lot about what we are as a program. For a guy who was here 1 year, it's amazing that Painter gets so many of these transfers for 1 year, and they all just are Purdue guys. And there's something to be said about that. Now, there's also something to be said about maybe we need somebody just another level up that's not necessarily a Purdue guy, but maybe we can mold him into one. Sometimes you can also change people from a culture standpoint too, that maybe aren't initially 100% what Purdue's looking for, but they're tangible enough that you can get them around that and through that. But
Dude,
anyway,
I saw a Caden Pierce dunk in that 3-on-3.
I saw that. The alley-oop.
I think his hand he probably could have dunked that on 11 foot.
Yeah, Boiler Burner posted that. I think it was like a tick by tick by tick by tick.
This guy is I think he's more than what we're expecting.
Yeah, I just wonder how he performs after sitting out for a whole season.
It seems like he's still balling. You go get those runs in, like all these dudes go to those pro-am runs all the time and playing those to see what they've got against, like, I don't know, like LeBron shows up to those, and they all play in those. So I'm expecting Caden Pierce to come out and flex nuts next year. Like I'm ready for this guy. I'm
taking
stoked.
a completely different approach. Like I'm hopeful, excited, but I have no expectations because I got burned by him this year.
Nope. I'm ready to get hurt again.
I'm not. I'm ready to get hurt again, sure, but I'm not going to go into it blindly. I want to see it before I talk about it. Like before I say we're going to be this or that or this person's, like, let me see it. Like I know you're really high on Ertl, and we're going to start here talking about these up and coming guys. And I believe it. I've seen it in person, but like, let me see it first at this level, before I start saying, he's going to be the guy that sends us to the next spot. So let's jump to some of these guys that are going to return next year. Who do you want to go to first?
Let's jump straight into the only starter that will return next year, CJ Cox. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about this season and looking ahead to his role next year on this team, what he will mean to Purdue as a player with the experience he has coming back.
Yeah, I'll go quick here. With CJ, for me, like, just my first instinct is he is the guy next year. He's put in the work. He's started a lot of games for a guy who's only a sophomore. I mean, you think about it, he started half his games as a freshman and every single one as a sophomore. And he's performed well. He's been arguably, if not for sure, our most consistent, like, what you're going to get with CJ type of guy. And for me, that's extremely important and valuable. He's simultaneously been held back by those ahead of him, but also shown extreme flashes of what he can be in those crazy bursts he goes on. Like, you see that little bit of like Carson Edwards explosion power when he gets it going. And I think with him in the reins, like with the offense centered around CJ at the guard position, whatever position 1 to 3 he plays, I really think you can see, 16 to 18 points a game guy who also, by the way, never turns the ball over. Like, I think he had 0, maybe 1 turnover in all of Big Ten play. And also a guy who can knock down the 3 ball, is exceptional at the mid-range. And one thing I truly love about CJ, have you ever seen that guy lose his cool? Like, he is cool as a cucumber, man. Like, he never changes. He's always right in the pocket. He's never going to get too high or too low. And so many times this year with 4 seniors around him, he was the guy that settled the offense and steadied the ship. He was the guy who hit the shot when we had to have it, who made on the run when we had to have it, who guarded the best player on the other team, and he never complained. He never faltered. He showed toughness through injury. Just my hype level for Purdue next year all centers around CJ. If CJ gets unleashed and Painter allows him to be the guy, I think you could see a guy that's all Big Ten player, all American caliber, third team honorable mention All American type of player. That's truly what I believe.
That's I think a reasonable take, Derek, and I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened. I also would not be surprised to see CJ take more of a backseat actually than what we saw him take this year. The reason for that is because Painter always is building his lineup and his primary starters around how they fit around our 2 or 3 best players.
Mhm.
I think CJ can be one of those guys. I love CJ. I've loved him from that first Alabama game. Actually, I loved him when he was in preseason and looked like Willie Dean. Like, my brother called him Willie Dean.
Oh, with the hair?
Yeah.
Oh,
He had the afro coming in, poofy, and then braided up. And then he had the Alabama game early in the non-con. And it was like, okay. So, like, I would love it if CJ became that guy. I also am really big on Ertl. And I think it's going to be fascinating to see how Ertl and Meyer blend together.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Pierce. I'm not going to, say he's going to be, amazing. But, like, there's some really good things that we have there. But it's going to be so different than what Purdue's had for a long time. And so he could be, like, the closest thing to a Vince Edwards that we've had in a long time. A different type of Vince. I'm not comparing to that, and I don't think he's got the same outside shot that Vince had. I don't think it's smooth. But Pierce, and then what's going to happen with our 5 position? Is it going to be DJ? Is he going to be able to develop? Is it going to be Sinan? Are we going to portal and bring in another 5? Is Cluff coming back? So, like, because of all that, I just say I could actually see a situation where CJ is really good coming off the bench and being a guy that we bring in and we're running stuff for him and we want him to get up shots really quick. But that maybe with the pieces that we have around, maybe he's not the best fit in the starting lineup. Maybe he's not the best guy playing 30 minutes. But I love CJ, and so I just have so many questions about next year. And, already looking forward to it, see what Painter does with it.
Yeah, I think that's consensus. The most exciting thing coming off of this loss is, man, we get a bunch of new faces for the first time in 4 years. It's new guys. 6 years, really, if you go back to Morton, Edey, and all those guys who blended in with this group, Gillis. First time in a long time, we've got a bunch of new faces all at once. Like, one starter returns, and it's literally your 5th option, who was in mostly a minute share with your 8th option. Like, it wasn't like until the end, he really didn't separate. So, Dalton, what are your thoughts on CJ? You're just sitting there, like, dissecting our brains.
I'm Kim-palming right now, dude.
I should have known.
Yeah, I'm statting right now. So CJ Cox 24th nationally in offensive rating this year on KenPom.
Wow, solid, man.
So
I didn't realize
the
that.
dude, he went down in 3-point percentage, but his volume also doubled, and his percentage went down by 0.2.
What did he shoot from 3?
He shot 37% from 3 this year and had that spurt where he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Yeah, let me explain to everybody. That's elite.
His shot looked off for at least 3 to 4 games to me. That's just my opinion. He looked off, and then he dealt with the leg, and you could tell the leg was affecting his shooting motion. The mid-range was fine. He had enough power for that, but the power wasn't there on the threes in the last 2 games. Really affected that. He shot 60% from 2 this year. I don't foresee a world where CJ doesn't become the guy. And like that to me is he's just so efficient. I don't see how he doesn't. You make it fit. For me, if I'm coaching, if I'm Painter, I make it fit. This guy does nothing wrong on the court. This guy knows the system. This guy runs the plays. He knows the plays. He's a Fletcher Loyer level of intelligence on play. His defense is stellar. So if I'm Painter next year, the offense is nearly centered around CJ. I don't see the guy take bad shots. You saw it where he can go off the dribble. Don't think he's allowed to do that enough. He's nasty off the dribble, and he can handle. So it's like, I don't know. For me, I build my offense around him.
Yeah. I'm with you. Blake disagrees. That's good. It's good to have disagreement.
Yeah, I mean that's why we need more opinions. I don't want to agree on everything because that's dumb, and that's called an echo chamber, and it's stupid, and that's how people get stupid. So
yeah, that's how I got stupid.
Yeah, it's how I became the way I am now.
No, like I think that the big thing is gonna be like with all this, like, I think we're going to have a lot of elite scorers on the perimeter, like elite shot makers, not just scorers, like shot makers. Like, Omer, Ertl, West, and CJ can all go get it. Like, they have that option. So who breaks out of that 4-pack? Because really 2 of them are going to be the guys. It's not all 4 of them. So I think Antoine West is under talked about. We'll get to him in a minute. But what about Jakari? We've hit CJ here pretty good. There's obviously going to be a lot of speculation going into next year because nobody has any damn idea what's going to happen. But, let's assume Jakari stays for this exercise, okay? I don't want to talk about whether or not he's going to leave because I don't want to wish that on him. So assuming Jakari stays with Purdue, I'll pose the question this way. Do you see him as a role player still, or do you see him taking a step? Because everybody talked about a step this year. I never really saw it. There was like little moments, but to me, he's a perennial role player. His biggest leap he can make is to become an absolutely elite defender, and maybe be a little bit better at rebounding would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, I can see Jakari taking a step forward. I could see us playing a much higher tempo next year. We are not going to be as efficient. And so maybe more possessions in a game is going to help us just feed off each other and feed off energy. Jakari is a great disruptor. There's a moment in the second half, Jakari grabs a rebound. It might have been first half, but I'm pretty sure it's second half when we were a little bit struggling. I feel like it's like, 7 to 8 minutes into the second half. Jakari had just come into the game, I think, and I could be wrong. But he grabs a rebound, and Braden's calling for the ball. And Jakari waves him off. Yeah. Jakari just dribbles it up court, just feels his way through, gets right into the paint, and puts up a nice soft shot, goes in for 2. And we were struggling at that point. Like, we weren't scoring. Jakari's just like, no, I got this. I think there's some element to Jakari of playing unlocked, of when it's just create a little chaos out there, Jakari. Get in passing lanes, gamble a little bit, get out in transition, just take your man and go get a bucket. Where our team was so efficient this year, and it was so good having the ball in Braden and TK's hands, that it didn't make sense to do that other stuff. And so I could actually see a situation where Jakari, day one, Jakari's freshman year, he was starting the first couple games. It wasn't until later that Painter pulled him out, put CJ in. I think because CJ paired better with Braden, Fletch, and TK. I think CJ was reliable, was steady. You knew what you were going to get. And there's moments where the microwave can come on. And I love that, and I'm all for it. I think Jakari might be a better fit with Omer and Ertl. And so I'm just waiting to see. I can see Jakari taking a jump, and like making mistakes is okay. And like getting a little chaotic out there is okay. Because I think we're going to play a little bit more up-tempo next year and just let guys hoop a little bit more. Where we couldn't do that because we were so good with Braden and TK being the primary, usage players on offense. So I don't know. But, if CJ comes out, like you guys say, and is our primary guy and offense revolves around him, like, I'll be here for it. I could just see things being a lot different next year with the pieces.
Yeah. It's a very good point. Very good point. Because if we do play faster, I think that 3, like if Omer and Ertl are playing together, that 3 position has to, 1, be elite at defense, and 2, has to be able to run. And probably rebound, to be honest. But will be interesting. Yeah, it's a good point. Dalton, what do you think? What do you think happens with Jakari next year?
So how's the chat and everyone still left in here feel about a lineup of Mayer, Ertel, whichever one, CJ and Jakari, dude? I know it's small, but it's physical, and it's defensively oriented. I would put CJ or Jakari on any 6'6", 6'8" wing. I've never seen them, maybe like them shooting over the top, but how often is that an efficient shot?
Right.
And I'll ask that question. I'm a big fan of Jakari. I do think he is a player that you have to let do his thing. He's like a Miles type of heater type of player. Like, there's going to be cold moments, but they always level out with him. He did improve his three-point shooting from last year on fixed minutes this year. He shot a higher rate and improved it by 4% this year. You see a 4% increase next year, you're shooting 40%. And the dude is a cannonball. Like, when he wants to get to the hole, you're not stopping him, and we need that kind of guy on the floor. It's like, I'm not saying somebody else can't split minutes with him. The guard room's so full, but it's like, man, you let him walk, like and that's my fear, is that he's gone, because he will go somewhere and he'll be a Miles Colvin. He's got that type of athleticism to him. We saw it this year, and he's a defensive juggernaut. And I think we just got so lazy on defense and help this year that even guys like him and CJ just got so used to letting their guys slide off to the bigs, that it made them look bad. And I don't think that is either one of them. And that's frustrating to me, because they're head up guys. They can hold anybody on D, and I'm really hoping we find a way to hold on to Jakari. So that's my Jakari spiel.
Yeah, I agree. And if nothing else, holding on to him as somebody who's been with the program. We're going to be young, and we're going to be even if you add Pearson, he's a guy, first-year guy, a lot to learn. You need, say Jakari were to leave, the guy you have left is you have CJ and then a couple of freshmen who were redshirts and played very limited minutes this year. You have almost no experience. And also, Blake, I wanted to let you know, they can't see your chats. Unless you post them, like you go on your phone on YouTube and post them, they can't see them if you post them through a chat.
He should be able to in the public chat part, though. Do you have that, Blake?
Yeah, I thought I could. I'm in the public chat.
No, for some reason, if you're on the show and you post through that, unless you're because he's a guest, not a host.
I got you.
It won't show up. Yeah.
So you guys post through the public chat.
Yes.
And it shows up, but I should do it through YouTube stream.
Yes.
Yeah, we're both hosts.
If you're not listed as a host, it won't show up in there. That way, if we had somebody on who was kind of getting crazy and trying to say stuff, they can't get into an argument with the chat while they're on the stream type of thing.
Right.
But yeah, so agree. It'll be interesting. I hope he stays. I think everybody agrees. I know there's a lot of noise out there that he's leaving, and my thought is if he stayed last year, why would he leave now? The door is so much more open now than it was coming into this most recent season. So why would you go now? I think he stays, just personally. Let's go to Benter, DJ. Let's just put these two together, and then we'll put the two red shirts together. What are your thoughts on Benter and DJ? I know we'll get into what we think of the lineup's going to be briefly, but what do you feel from these two guys specifically? There's a lot of chatter of, is DJ going to stick around? We're going to assume he is. But also there's also a lot of noise he was playing 20 minutes a game, and that fell very quickly to almost zero by the end of the year. It was not a good graph. And some of the stuff he did, now the very final game, he looked great. But I was talking to my dad about this, and I said, everybody was talking about how great DJ played in that Arizona game, but we're to the point where a 0.0 rebound performance is now great for DJ. Then we've kind of missed the plot here. Because a 7'4" guy in this system needs to give you more than that in 11 minutes. Regardless of how impactful it looked, it still was a 0.0 rebound, 11-minute performance in a game against really good bigs. So I kind of just want to get your guys' takes on how you think these two fit. Like you mentioned, Blake, you have Sinan coming in. You still have people forget about Burgess. He's 6'11" and can shoot the ball. If Cluff comes back, I'm going to pretend he's not just for the sake of argument, but is there a world where you think Sinan beats him out? And then when it comes to Benter, is he going to get moved to a 3, or is he competing with Pierce and Burgess at these 4 minutes? Is Burgess a 4 or 5? I mean, there's a lot of questions here, but where do you see these guys shaking out? Either one of you.
Oh, you're muted, Blake.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Rickus in the chat saying he told me 10 times that my chats can't be seen. I'm sorry, Rickus.
Hey, I'm going to address him real quick,
man,
too.
I don't know what's going on. I'm new to this. I'm just a guest, man.
Yeah, we're figuring it out. I'm going to address Rickus real quick, too. This comment is ignorant. And I'm going to say that straight up. That's the dumbest comment of the day. I'm mad at you, Rickus. We can talk about it in text afterwards, but you're talking two guys that you've never seen play outside of a high school gym in prep ball where they play trash ball. You're saying they're better than Jakari Harris, who was a 4-star recruit coming out of Georgia, who is a dog who has put the work in with Purdue, knows our system. I don't actually 3 guys that we've never watched play college ball.
Yeah, say Antoine
So
too.
I don't know how we can say that. If you want to break that down for me, I appreciate it. I'm not ignoring you. You're not always ignored. I am addressing you right now directly. So I'm on that. I'm gonna dip to the restroom real quick. We've been on for an hour and 15 minutes. So Blake, take it away on DJ, baby.
And Benter, you can kind of do both.
Yeah. I mean, I'm concerned about DJ being able to hold up against physical post players. I think there are some matchups where he looked really good this year. He had good minutes against Alabama, on the road, but Alabama doesn't have a front court, and
Correct.
Sherrell was like not the Sherrell that he was at the end of the year. He was much better at the end of the year. I'm optimistic that DJ can get there, and that Brantley's going to keep working on him, and his body's going to get better over the summer. He had a broken leg last year that really sets you back, and then he did the FIBA U20 stuff and came in, and then Cluff was just the right person to play. And so maybe DJ gets there. I'm not out on him, but I'm also not carrying high expectations in next year for him to be something that he didn't show me he was yet this year.
Right. Yeah.
Sinan, I've watched his clips. Different than a Purdue player we've ever really had. Like maybe a little bit of Jawan Johnson and just how he moves. Like he's fluid with long legs. But he's got some good aggression going to the rim, dribbling comfortably with the ball. It's gonna be really interesting to see how we use a big man like that because he's different than anybody we've ever had before. And then Benter is this guy that I love. He's such an Indiana hooper. I would love to see him get some of Fletch's 3 volume next year and just package that up for Benter. I think he'll still be a little bit of a 3-4 combo. And I think with Pierce coming in, not knowing how he's going to fit, with Burgess coming back and being more of a 4-5 and not sure exactly how he's going to fit, I think there's minutes at the 4 for Benter. And so I could see him doing basically exactly the same thing that he did this year at the 4. But I also think he's got to get minutes at the 3 and see how he can do there. It's just we're loaded in 1 through 3 right now. Got some really good guards that I'm excited about, but I want Benter to keep getting opportunity, and I could see Benter playing his way into the starting lineup.
Yeah.
I could also see Benter staying at like a 12 to 15 minute a game guy. It's going to be really interesting to see how the pieces fit together. But our front court next year, lots of questions. And so,
Yeah. And I'll answer this real quick. He said, how does his defense look, talking about Sinan? He averaged 5 blocks a game in FIBA, which was 2.5 more than the next closest person, and he only played 22 minutes a game. His defense is good. I don't know how he holds up. Now, that's different in a game of physicality, in a game where fouls are counted a little differently, and I don't know how that works. But, we shouldn't be Sinan should only be, if he plays, a 15 to 20 minute a game guy his first year at most. We're still going to have DJ, and I still believe there'll be times when Burgess, we go a little small, and Burgess is your 5 for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is. But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with a lot of what you just said there. Benter, to me, I think there's 2 ways Painter goes about this. Either Benter is the 3, and you play Pierce as a 3-4, and then you pick a guard like Jakari as another 3. Maybe the 3 is Jakari and Benter, something along those lines. Or Benter's still a 4 and you're splitting Pierce and him in those minutes and moving Burgess to a 5, at which case I hate it. I don't want to be small again. We should have a great battle at the guard spot. So great ones should emerge out of those 4 or 5 people. If you're picking out of that group, you should get 2 really good ones. So why can't we do a Benter at the 3 or a Jakari when you want to go defensive? You kind of offense defense this. And then you go Pierce or Burgess at the 4, And then you go, Sinan or Jacobson at the 5, and you're pretty damn big all the time. Like, no matter what, because there's going to be times where Omer's the 1 and CJ's the 2. You're going 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", 6'7", 7'2". Like, you're huge. You look at the Final Four teams, they're giants. Illinois, Arizona, Michigan, they're humongous. Like, that is clearly what's winning in basketball right now. And I think that's where Burgess can help separate himself, because he is a shooting big. And you need one of those if you're going to play that way. Dalton, what's your thoughts on DJ moving into next year and Benter as well?
Yeah, I think DJ makes a lot of progression with another year under Brantley. This will be going into his third year with Brantley. So people forget that he's technically a freshman. He played less than 2 games last year. So this is all new to him too. Not okay with the 0 stat lines, but I don't think we see that from him very long. Even Matt Harms got along just fine in the Big Ten. I mean, the dude, he had a good time at Purdue before he transferred out. But you are still playing in the Big Ten, and it's always going to be super physical with super, physical bigs like Morez Johnson, Ade Mara, people like that, or the Z brothers at Illinois. Like, it's always going to be that. So I think he has to understand that and learn how to play to his strengths in that, because if he doesn't put on another 20, 30 pounds about he'd be about 260, 270 then, then he becomes an immobile force like Edey. I mean, you're basically the same build as Edey at that point. So I just think DJ has to adjust to that. I think Benter is – man, I just think he's too streaky as a young fella. I think he needs to – he has a lot more learning to do under this coaching staff in order to play good defense. There was times where he was just nowhere to be found. It was the same with Omer this year. Just lost his guy, and if we're going to continue to play that help defense, which I pray to God we get rid of, just play your man straight up. But I think Benter's a bench guy next year. I don't foresee him starting. I don't think the proof is there. Now, summer practices tell us a lot more, and there's a lot that goes on there that we don't see because we are not fortunate enough to be in the know like Craig Bowers. Although I want to be I want to be at practices. It's like a dream, but we'll see with Jack. We'll see. He's got talent. He's got athleticism. He can jump out the roof. He can shoot out the building. So I'm excited. I really am. I'm a big fan of all these guys. It's like, when they say, like I've said it a million times, it's like wanting the pilot to crash the plane when you're cheering against your own players. It's like they control our ship, each one of them, and I'm guilty of that too. Like Ethan Morton gave him a lot of shit, wanted him to suck. But, it's like I've learned from that and moved forward. And we got to pump these guys up because they are on social media. They do see everything. So,
yeah. I got a thought on that. But first, he says Benter's a playmaking player. I do agree with that. I think that he's extremely smart. And I think that one thing that we will have this year that maybe we haven't had in 6-ish years is true competition for playing time. And that usually breeds excellence. When you have guys truly battling, I look positionally all the way down the line from the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 spot. Every spot should have a battle.
There's nothing guaranteed for next year.
Feels like nothing. Like maybe the only guarantee in my mind, like that I can conceive, is that Omer's probably going to have a spot. Just because of what my understanding of the conversation was that was had when he came here, was you're the year 2 guy. Like, that's been said by many sources inside of Purdue. And I can't see a world where they go, actually, no, you're not. If they do, I think he leaves. And I think Painter's up front with him about that, and he transfers. Like, but I think that he's going to be, whether it's the point or the 2, he will be a heavy, heavy factor. Okay, so we went through most of the guys. We did not hit on Omer. So
let Blake say his piece on that, bro.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
They-
Yeah, sorry, I interrupted a little bit. I think
No,
Pierce
jump
is
in.
probably also most likely a starter at
Yeah.
the 4 next year. I don't see us bringing in a 5th-year guy like that that's playing, 3-on-3 Team USA World stuff, and he's not a starter at Purdue. I think he is. I just think it's how high is his ceiling,
Right.
with us. But I think Omer and Pierce, and then probably CJ. But I made the argument earlier that I could see CJ being an awesome 6th man for us. So I agree with you though. In spirit, there's competition at every level that we haven't had in a really long time.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me to this. Like, let's go through. We've hit on most guys. We did not hit on Wes, Burgess, or Omer yet, but we will through this exercise, I am sure. I want to go through each position, right? And just real quick and kind of say each one of us who we think is going to start at that position, maybe a little reason why, and who is going to back that person up. That's not to say that you can't say Ertl is going to start at the 1 and also back up the 2, or you can do that if you want. But, I would like for more of, this guy and this guy, who's going to win the battle at each position, essentially. So I'll start with you, Blake. Who's your guy? And I'm gonna reverse this because I think the juice is all at the end here. Who do you think is going to start at the 5 for Purdue next year? And who do you think is the backup?
Yep. So I have DJ starting at the 5 next year. That could change. But I think C9 is going to have more to adjust to than DJ. And so I do have DJ as our starter. With let me see their minutes breakdown, but I don't have them being that much different in total minutes. I have them pretty split. So I had DJ at the 5.
Do you see any Jacobson overflow there, where Purdue goes small maybe at some points, or do you think that that's kind of he's going to be the backup? We're not getting into that position yet, but
What do you mean Jacobson overflow?
oh, I said Jacobson, Burgess, excuse me.
Oh, okay. Raleigh at the 5, playing with more of a stretch big.
Yeah.
I didn't play with that in my initial draft lineups here. I could see it, but I would need to see Raleigh proving he can be a 5. And with DJ and Sinan, I don't. But yeah, that could happen.
Yeah. I just think defensively it's probably a big lapse if he's at the 5. What about you, Dalton?
Portal.
Oh, you think we're going to get a big in the portal?
Yeah, I think we portal for a 5, just because it's so unproven, and there's so many 7-footers out there that I think we go get a veteran guy that can split with DJ again. I just don't see Sinan coming right out the gate. I think it'll be similar to Omer, where we see this guy playing against competition that is not college basketball.
Yeah.
And definitely not the Big Ten, like the best conference in the country, clearly. Like, you got to come to play. And I think the offensive adjustment for him is going to take some time. Like learning our sets, what the movements are. He's probably a very smart kid, but at the same time, it's a different ball game. We saw that with Omer. Like, I watched him dominate kids all summer. I was like, this guy's going to score 35 a game. And he comes in and he has trouble scoring and adjusting to the speed of the game and getting his shots, his looks. So I think we see Sinan struggle with the same thing. We need somebody that can split with DJ. We need to go grab a portal 5.
I like that call because as hard as, I mean, that's kind of like something that's obviously unknown, but in the end, going with DJ or Sinan is a huge risk. You're assuming without seeing Sinan play in college at all, he's good enough. Or you're assuming DJ takes a leap that hasn't been made yet. At least in Purdue's world, a very important position. So yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I think if you're right, I think a portal is actually. I wasn't really thinking about that, but I think that's a really good call out, and I think that's something that I think we have about maybe one spot left that we could potentially use. And if it's not a wing, I think it will be a big guy. But I think the wing was filled by Pierce in Painter's eyes, or Benter, or either one. He has his wing, the one he wanted. So a big 7-foot center who can rebound and is really physical. You know, there's a guy that just came free out of Georgia, I believe. That's huge, like 6'11" and a monster. Now I doubt he comes to a
Right.
Purdue,
Yeah,
but like,
Cyril, I think.
yeah, a guy like that would. There's also a big 7'2" guy that's a beast coming out of somewhere like Belmont or something like that that I saw. But if it's just the Purdue guys, I lean more towards DJ just because of experience, kind of like Blake said, and then Juan helps back him up, maybe overtakes him by the end of the year. But at least to begin with, I would say it's probably DJ. What about the 4? We may all agree here, but I also know Dalton's got some belief in Burgess. So what's your thought at the 4, Blake? Do you think it's Pierce?
Yeah, I think it's Pierce, and then I got Raleigh coming off the bench, and I got those two basically as the primary. And then, like I said earlier, I think Benter, can still fit in at times at the 4. He's probably more of a true 3, but I wouldn't be opposed to him getting, 4 to 5 minutes a half at the 4, and then the rest of his time at the 3. It'll be really interesting how that all comes together. But Pierce is our main guy at the 4, and I think he ends up being a 30 minutes a game guy.
Okay. What about you, Dalton?
I gotta go with Riley. I think Pierce is more of a 3. He's very athletic. He's only 6'7", so we'd be playing so small at the 4 with a 6'7" there. That's my only concern. He's 6'7", 220. He's super athletic and he can handle the ball. I have him as more of a 3. A lot of people, and I know a lot of people disagree with this, but that's where I would like to see him maybe fill minutes at the 4. But I think Raleigh's ready to go. I think he's had so much time to work in practice with TKR. I think that a lot of people are going to be surprised by what they see from him. He's leaned up. He looks good in all warm-ups that I've seen him in. You can't tell much of that, but like you have to work against TKR every practice. You're gonna learn some things, especially defensively. He's 6'11". He's a big boy, so I'm going Riley at the 4.
Yeah, I think I'm on board with that. I think that you're right. Pierce is going to spot minute 4 backup and play a lot more at the 3 than people think he is. I think Painter can see the light at the tunnel where all these teams that are winning big tournament games are huge. And I see a world where we go like 7 foot, 6'11", 6'7", 6'4", 6'4". And maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe it's not, but I think Burgess is so undervalued from the Purdue faithful because he redshirted, because he was injured and only played a couple. He wasn't in shape to play the previous year. Then he redshirts. I think there's a lot of he's another Waddell, right? He's never going to get on the floor. To me, he is. I just watching in warm-ups, dude. What I see is so good, and a shooting big is so valuable in today's college basketball world. I just kind of see it. So this isn't like I don't think Pierce will play. I do. I think he plays 15 to 20 minutes at the 2 or at the 3, and then plays 10 minutes at the 4. I could see worlds where even Sinon plays a little 4 if we do get a big portal big. And, just a little bit. And Purdue goes huge at time. I just see a world like when Benner comes in and plays the 3. Like I think the 3 spot, in my opinion, is somewhere in the 20 minutes Pierce, 15 to 20 minutes Benner, and then Jakari can fill in if that's the position. But I think they're going to move everybody down a slot to try to get bigger. This could go completely backwards though. This is the crazy thing about this coming season. Yeah. It could literally be the opposite, and we're playing Benner at the 4. And, a portal guy that's 6'11" at the 5. Like, we have no idea what's going to happen. That's the crazy part. But what about the 3? What do you guys see at the 3? I'll go with you first, Dalton, because you kind of just touched on it, on what you kind of thought the 3 was going to look like.
Yeah, I would say Pierce starts at the 3, man. You're talking, like you said, 7'4", 6'11", 6'7", and based on, Painter's really good at making adjustments, and I don't think there will be a set starting lineup next year. I think it'll be one of the years where you might see some different stuff, bro. There's no guarantees. Like, either you're performing or you might see some pine for a little bit, As we talked about, it's like, what have you done for me? And I think it's a prove it year. It's a prove it. Who are you? What is this team's identity now? And so I would say starting the year, probably see Pierce at the 3. He's so athletic. He's a big body, and I think his defense is probably not talked about enough.
Yeah. What about you, Blake? You got Pierce at the 4, so who's your 3?
I do, but I could see that. You guys are spot on. The last 2 years in college basketball, you've seen size and length at the 3, 4, and 5 help teams dominate. It dominates on the rebounding side of things. It dominates on clogging up the paint. You're forcing more shots coming from outside, and improving your 2-point defense, especially your rim rate defense. And that's where the data is at, and saying this is what makes the best college basketball teams. It's Alabama's a team that's just wanting to fire up all these threes, and that's definitely happening in the NBA. But college basketball players are not as efficient making 3-pointers as what NBA players are. That's the reason they're in the NBA. And so, yeah, I could see Pierce at the 3. It's not something I've given much thought to be honest with you. So you guys are both making me think about that a little bit more. But at the 3, I see Jakari and I see Benter as primary 3s. And then depending on how things end up shaking out, what's the combo look like with Omer and with Ertl? How do those guys play off each other? CJ is like slotted in at the 2. Maybe CJ fits in with those guys well. And then who are you actually calling the 3, right? Like at Purdue, it might just be a bunch of guards, and you go out there and you're playing continuity, ball screen, motion offense, right? And so 1, 2, and 3 is almost interchangeable. You need a guy that's primarily bringing the ball up. I think we got a couple guys that can do that. But I think Jakari at the 3, I think Benter at the 3 are primaries. But man, let's see what happens with Caden Pierce. Maybe he plays 3 a bit more than I think he does.
I think as long as Benter's playing the 3 and not the 4, I'm okay with whatever else happens. I think that's where my brain is. Like if I see Benter at the 4, something's gone wrong. So let's jump now to we'll just call it the guards, the 1 and 2. So my world, I see 4 people for 2 spots. If you don't include Weber in this, I don't know where Weber fits. If Weber comes in and is a sharp shooting Fletcher Loyer, but 6'6", there's a world he's our 3. He could start at 3 to start the year for all we know. If he's that good, people tell me he's the best shooter Purdue's ever recruited. And he's 6'6". Okay, if he really is that, he might just start at the 3. And it might be we'll still be big. We'll still be 6'6" at the 3. If you go Pierce 6'7", and then a 7'4" guy, but or however that all shakes out. But anyway, however you want to break it down, you have Antoine West, CJ Cox, Omer Meyer, and Luke Ertl. I think, like you've mentioned multiple times, a lot of this comes down to who fits together the best out of those 4. Which 2 of you, and I'm guessing this will be a summer thing where it's one day it's Ertl and Mayer versus the other 2, and then it's the other 2. It's just like a round robin, and who's win because they talked about CJ, why he got so many minutes this year. He won all the games, no matter what team he was on. His team won every game in the summer, so it's going to be similar. Who do you see shaking out at that, Blake?
Man, it's such a toss-up right now when I think about that.
It's so hard.
It's so hard. We haven't even talked about Weber.
Right. I know. I completely forgot until I was about to say that.
I'm like, yeah, he's actually on my sheet here, but I only have him in for 10 minutes a game because I just don't know where to put him. We got a lot of guys next year. I've seen his clips. I've watched him. His dad's a shooting coach, a professional shooting coach. So the dude's got a release.
Oh,
it's
he
pure.
Can shoot it, and it's quick.
He can shoot it. It's quick.
And it's not just catch and shoot. He can shoot it everywhere, off anything.
He can create. Yep. He's been decent going to the rim and finishing around the rim. He's got a nice step back. There's a lot of things about him that are intriguing. He's going to be pretty lightweight for a Big Ten frame. What he needs to be able to do in Big Ten basketball. I don't think he redshirts. I think Rivers Knight redshirts. I don't think Jacob Weber redshirts. But it's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out. Omer and Ertl, it's going to be really interesting to see, is there synergy there or does it clash? And you got to just have one or the other on the court at all times. And then we haven't even talked about Antoine West. Like, he's just lurking back there, but he's the guy that Braden said in running point might be the leading scorer next year. We haven't even talked about him yet.
I know.
It's just like next year, man, it's gonna
be fun.
Throw it all against the wall and see what sticks, what works.
I think a lot of us go into next year with little expectation, but a lot of excitement. You know, basically almost backwards of what it's been. It's been a lot of expectation and more fear than anything of like, will we meet that? This year, it's like, I don't know. We could be bad or we could be the best team in America. I have no idea, but I'm excited to see what shakes out of it. Yeah, because Antoine West, you mentioned it, dude. And this is the report from everybody. Antoine West is going to be the dude. Okay. But I haven't got to see it, so I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
Where?
Yeah. Like, where does he go? Is he taking Myers' minutes, Ertl's minutes, CJ's minutes? Like,
We got a new friend of the show, by the way. What's up, R Hark 98?
our Hark 98. Not sure if that's Clark and he became a Purdue fan now.
No, because he said, bro, demolish my high school's rival.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, nice to have you in here, man.
Ertl killed everyone. You know what? Like, you just talked about Rivers Knight redshirting. I'm not even sure that happens.
I just talked to my dad about this. Like, look at the 4 spot. If Pierce is maybe playing some 3 minutes, you're going to need another guy unless we pick somebody up.
Oh, come on now, Rickus.
Hey, let's not forget either. Rivers Knight is 6'9" and can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I see a world, he's nationally 238. He's a 3-star recruit, and we see how 3-star recruits work out at Purdue sometimes.
Yeah.
So there's a world where Knight sees the floor quite a bit this year, and Pierce plays a lot more 3 with Benter, and we're just huge, and we punch you in the mouth multiple ways. Like, you get excited when those guys, the first guys go off the floor, and then the second wave is the first wave, but maybe better at different things.
Right.
Like it's to that point. It's like, and that's why my fear is somebody we don't expect leaves.
Right.
Because if you're Painter, you're going, Painter's very honest with his team. He's like, hey, there's no floor for you next year. And does he tell the wrong guy that? And I don't know, man.
My hot take is that Omer Mayer might be the one to leave. He's become best friends with Braden. There's a lot more competition than I bet he was expecting in year 2. And he can go get a bag somewhere.
Yeah.
That's my fear. I'm not going to try to wish it into or talk it into fruition, but if somebody's going to leave, I don't think, okay, to me, if you're a red shirt like West, why would you leave now, right? Why would you red shirt then leave? Ertl clearly not leaving. CJ definitely not leaving. That would be crazy to me. And I just don't, like, if Jakari leaves, that still doesn't change anything about the 1 and 2 spot being overcrowded. So, like, man, I don't know. I don't know. Who do you think, who shakes out? Who wins that, though? I know we don't know, but who are you thinking?
You're talking the 2?
The 1 and 2. Who are 2 guards?
So, Ertl is going to start.
Yeah, you've been on this train since the second he committed.
I watched him play against South Bend at Homestead, and I've never seen a guy with that motor, and it didn't stop. Like, there wasn't any pullback, and it was on both ends of the floor. And we're talking a high-level game. Like, these are all college-level kids. That's where Notre Dame's coach, Shrew, his kid plays at South Bend, St. Joseph. Mm-hmm. They were playing in that holiday tournament. And then I watched Ertl just make Homestead, who ended up probably 6th place in the state, made them look like they were a biddy ball team. Like, he was just pulling up from wherever he wanted, like not even close to the 3-point line. Like, the kid's a nightmare. And it's on both ends. Like, he's a defensive nightmare too, and he comes in ready to play. So give me at 2, like, You know what? I'm going to take a step back off the CJ train, and I'm going to put him on the bench plate because I didn't even think this through. Like, I think you have to go Omer and Ertl, 1 and 2, and I think they have to be a dagger punch. Like, and then I don't know what you do because you have West, Jakari. Like, God, I don't know.
This
man.
is
I'm
where
not,
my brain starts thinking, like, do we play 3 guards?
Yeah, I'm not jealous.
Because you're
of
so strong at the
Payne,
guard spot.
right?
And, like,
But
maybe then you
how?
just go Pierce and a giant guy and you play small and fast.
I mean,
But to
do
me,
you
that
play
doesn't
Bama
work.
ball? Do you get
But-
shots up within 15 seconds then, or do you try to run a PJ offense? Because I don't
know.
like a half court with a small team.
That's where I think up tempo might be what we end up doing next year. A little bit of chaos ball. I
don't
wouldn't
like
call
a half court
Alabama,
offense.
but like more closer to that end of the spectrum than what we were this year.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
scary because, like, to me, like, Pierce being at the 4, God, you're 4, 6, 7.
You're talking
And then you're-
Morez Johnson. He's guarding Morez Johnson.
Yeah.
Like-
or Koa Pete.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
that's why. Is it matchup based lineups this year? That's my question to you two.
That's a world where, like, it's not just like you're a starter, you're not a starter. Like, where, no, today you start, tomorrow you might not. Like, I got to start who's going to be best here. I think, oh, God, I just don't know with this guard room. Like, without knowing who is leaving and who is staying for sure and assuming everyone's staying, to me, everybody can't stay and be happy. There's 6, like, if you include Weber, there are 6 guys for 2 spots.
4 minutes apiece.
Like, yeah, do you just play everybody 15 minutes and say, go bust your balls? Like,
Let's see what
you have
got,
80
Chief.
minutes for 6 guys. That's what, 50? No, not even 15. That's like 12 minutes
No.
apiece, 13 minutes apiece.
Yeah.
Like,
Here's your 12 minutes, dude. Make the most of it.
that's why people called me crazy when I said Weber was going to redshirt. And that's why I said it. Like, who isn't? Like, nobody else can even redshirt, I don't think. Was CJ going to redshirt? Like, everybody else has already used it. And so my 2 starters, I think it's Ertl, and then West backs up Ertl. Okay, I think that. I think it's Meyer, and then CJ backs up Meyer. Like, but I could see either of those 2 flipping either direction. Like this or like this.
Yep.
Like, I don't know who it's going to be, but I know that those are the 4 guys. Jakari's
gotta-
not going to.
We got a friend. Jeff's been
in
lurking.
the house, dude.
Jeff been lurking,
There's
baby.
the Lukey.
What up, Jeff?
Man, he says Meyer's not in the lineup.
Hark's saying Sinon and Caden at the power forward. So where does Riley Burgess go? Because, like, I hate to say this to a new fan, but, like, you're missing the point if you haven't seen Riley Burgess play. Like,
Yeah.
this kid he's a baller now.
Yeah.
Like, he ain't
can shoot it.
sophomore. Yeah, he's big. He's
Yep.
big now. Strong.
A big question, Dalton, will still be is his lack of conditioning and lack of just running out of gas, is that a little bit of how his lungs are? And it doesn't matter even if he's in better shape and healthier, that he's just not a guy that gives you extended minutes. He's a guy that comes in and plays hard for 4 to 5 minutes and he's out because maybe he just is, some guys are like that, right? Like their lungs just don't carry long-term capacity. And so they come in high energy and run out of the tank real quick, and you play him again in the second half. But I remember Raleigh when he came in as a freshman and summer practices, and like he was just like killing it on the boards, like just ferociously getting offensive rebounds and put back dunks.
Yeah.
So like Raleigh could be big, and he stepped out and hit that big shot against Alabama, hit that 3 when we played them in Mackey Arena last year. Had a really good game against Alabama. And so there's flashes from all I could see it. But going back, Derek, to your original, I have Omer, CJ, and Jakari in my starting lineup to start the year. But I think Ertl is probably in the starting lineup at some point through the year. And I just don't know, is it going to be better him playing with Omer, or is it going to be better those 2 guys playing apart from each other? That's just, for me, I don't know until I see how they play together.
Yeah, to me, Ertl and Omer, right? They're both extremely high volume shot-taking guards, right? So you're right. Maybe it's just a split between those guys, or 25-15 somewhere, because I don't know if they both work. your two like very shot dominant guards, shot creating guards. Like you look at like some of Ertl's stats, like he has insane stat lines, right? But he's also in a lot of these games 8 for 17. Like he's shooting a lot. Omer's going to want to be the same guy. So I don't know who. I think those two don't play together. I think I've convinced myself of that now. I think West is with one of them because of his defensive ability. That's where I see West maybe starting here. And that's kind of crazy to think about with everybody else involved. But if his defense and his scoring, like Braden mentioned, is what it's said, what it's cracked up to be, I mean, this guy's a shot maker, shot taker, super long arms, super athletic, very quick with the ball. You watch some of the practice clips where he's guarding Braden and Braden's guarding him, and it looks like Antoine's better in the clips than Braden. Like he's taking the ball from him, he's beating him off the dribble. Like I just think there's a lot of underestimation of these red shirts, these two red shirts that are coming in, and it's scary. Also, our Hark, we did not forget about him. He just won't be here for 2 years. He is going on a
that's the Mormon.
He's
trip. A Mormon. He's going on his mission. So
yeah, so
and he won't play ball for. He won't play organized ball for 2 years. So
yeah, that scares me.
Could see a red shirt coming in right off the gate with him.
Some people I know don't think he ever sees Purdue. By the time that comes around, that something changes. You know,
a lot
happens
changes.
in 2 years. You know,
2 years at 18 years old, bro. Imagine 18 to 20. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah, I think the
More
consensus. Does anybody have any final thoughts here on the line? I mean, obviously the consensus seems to be we have no idea.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yeah,
Nobody knows.
I got a headache.
Yeah, as practices come along, I think we'll start getting more inside. Yeah, I'm just confused. I did want to quickly ask you guys, since you're on here, Blake, and you're definitely a big-time man of Christ and everything, like, what are your thoughts with the Jaden Ivey saga that's unfolding all over the internet? If you're comfortable speaking on it. If not, I totally understand.
Yeah, so I just don't know the latest. What I saw yesterday was a clip from a Sports Spectrum, which is a Christian radio program, interviewing him, and it was actually last year, and it got recycled yesterday. It was about him talking about abuse that he'd experienced and how he found freedom in Christ through that. And I thought it was all like very vulnerable, transparent, brave. Like, you know, if you work with anybody that's been through trauma in their life, to get to the point where they can talk about it publicly is a big step in the healing process. So like I was really encouraged to hear that and see that. Then there's the stuff that happened, and then I saw he got fired for conduct detrimental to the team, and then I saw accusations from people in other chats saying he was making anti-LGBTQ comments or whatever, and then somebody else said, well, all he said is that he disagrees with NBA celebrating Pride Month. You know, so like, right, like that's a very sensible, you know, common belief that a lot of NBA fans would probably also say, yeah, I don't like that the NBA does Pride Month, but it's just part of life now, right? And so, like, I don't know what else was there. I haven't had time to see what else was said. It probably is my guess is that he's not the player that he used to be in his physical abilities right now because he's coming off injury and is not the same person. And maybe he's not all there, all in on being a basketball player from a mental, emotional standpoint too. Because when he got traded from the Pistons, he played a lot the first couple of games and looked pretty good. And then he went to the bench and then wasn't playing. So I could see the Bulls actually trying to just use this as a business tactic of getting rid of a guy that they feel like, okay, we made a trade here, but we didn't get what we thought. This is an excuse for us to move on and dump this contract. And so, like, it's probably an overreaction, and they're probably just looking for anything they can use to get rid of him, is my guess. But I can't really say too much more than that because I don't know actually what Jaden said. But I wish him the best and love the kid and hope that whatever happens next, he's able to find himself and be in a healthy place.
Yeah, I don't think I could say it much better, to be honest. I'm just praying for him to find his peace through this. It seems like, you know, his connection with Jesus Christ and being saved has been good for him, at least from his standpoint. And I think you're right a lot of the way about his basketball abilities really being the thing here that the Bulls were looking at. And he just gave them some version of a reason to part ways. when they maybe already wanted to do that. I do think he's being a bit unfairly attacked about his mental health. And like,
Yeah.
he's allowed to have his beliefs too. Like the NBA is very open about spreading their real behind all this LGBTQ stuff, which is fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
But all he said was, this goes against the gospel. You should not be pushing these beliefs. And, you know, other people have popped on as well and kind of backed him up. But, you know, when you're the first guy, when you're the guy that breaks through the door and tries to goes against an organization like the NBA, you're probably not going to come out the other end. And it's unfortunate because we've experienced so much loss in the Purdue community, from Rondell Moore and to Biggie and to all these guys. You know, to see this, I think that's where everybody's brain first went, was like, oh God, hopefully he doesn't do something crazy too. And I don't think it's that, but he also had some videos talking about how his wife wasn't talking to him and stuff that got kind of weird. So I'm not sure, but it is sad to see a Purdue player being scrutinized quite so, in my opinion, unfairly for just speaking what he believes. Do you have any thoughts on this, Dalton?
I have a lot of thoughts on this. I mean, let's get real, dude. Why do you have to push sexual orientation on us through a basketball league?
Yeah.
That's my first thought. I'm not saying I bang chicks. I do. My wife. That's it. But
well,
I
you put an S on the end of that, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm clipping that.
I don't need to come out and tell everyone that. I don't need a month for that. Like, it is what it is. You like who you like, cool. It's on you. I'll pray for you. But at the same time, I don't need it shoved in my face by every organization under the sun. And if you disagree with me, let's talk about it. I'm that type of guy. Like, I mean, I have my beliefs. I don't think it's right because he just said what he believes. Like, and that's ostracization over your religious beliefs. And we have religious freedom, not under an organization, like, obviously, but I can't get fired from my job for that. Or I have a lawsuit. So what's the difference? And I think that John 15:18 states it the best. Like, basically, I was hated first. You know, they'll hate you, but I was hated first is basically what it spews out to. And I think we're seeing that a lot more in the world. And I think it's so stupid, man. Like, yeah, fine. If the Bulls wanted to get rid of him, perfect time to do it. He gave you reasons. I honestly, through my 20s, I went through a big growth phase where I changed a lot, man, as a man. And I realized the wrongs that I had done, and people that I had hurt. And it was a huge growth phase, man. And I think we all kind of go through that. Like, if you're not there, you're watching, like, you probably go through that. Like, you realize your shit did stink. And, like, you're not perfect, and coming to confession with Jesus over your sins can bring out that conviction in you. And to talk about it out loud may seem crazy to a lot of people. It's not religious psychosis. It's a connection to a higher power, whatever you choose that to be. Like, I'm not judging you. It's not my place. You'll be, you know, as far as my beliefs, that's at the end. That's God's job. So for me, it is to walk my walk, and I believe Jaden's doing that in public. And, you know, the demons come out. Like, it sounds weird to people that don't believe in this, but it is. You will be attacked for what you believe in. And I think that's what's happening is, like, and I don't fear for his mental health. He has a strong connection to Jesus Christ, and I believe that he's here to stay, and he's here to preach the gospel. If I was worried about his mental health, it'd be because he wasn't spreading the gospel. Somebody like him who's publicly adorned their faith to everyone. So that is my belief on it. Jaden Ivey is just fine. Jaden Ivey has a strong relationship with his higher power, and he is publicly expressing that, and people won't like it. Fine. Whatever. You know, he's, like he said in his thing, like, not necessarily you don't have to say I'm going to be laughing at you while you're going to hell, but like he said, but at the end of the day, he has to answer for everything here. So that growth moment is happening as a man.
Yeah. And I think from an organizational standpoint, like the NBA, who allows women abusers, drug dealers, gun wielding people, crazy people to commit crime and come right back into their league. To take a stance like this against a guy who's simply like, he's not out there like defaming anybody. He is simply stating his belief that is in opposition to the organization's belief. And it's similar to, just a freedom of speech disagreement here. Like, he has the right to say what he thinks, and the NBA is saying, no, you don't. You work for us, and we decide what you get to say. And if you don't agree with our policies and our Pride months and our Black History months and all the months that we want to try to claim, you're gone. You're ostracized, and we're going to do everything we can to make you out to be a crazy person. And I just hope that I hope he uses this in a positive way and not in a negative way. I guess I hope he can get through this through his faith and find a way to turn this into a positive. Maybe he starts an organization about freedom of speech within the NBA, like a group, whatever it might be. But I'm not trying to put a bow on this or anything, but to me, he's a Purdue guy, so I got his back. And the amount of hate he's receiving, to me, is probably fueling a little bit of like some of the crazier things he said during this whole thing. Like, it's tough because you're just trying to, when you really dive into God for the first time, like, you want to go tell everybody about it.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, look what I found. I want you to be a part of this. And when everybody's making you out to be a crazy person, it's really hard not to be like, wait, what? Like, no, you don't get it. Like, I'm like, so I think he's going through a little bit of that, but God be with him. And I hope that everything turns out for the best, with Jaden and, works out. I don't want to harp on it too much, but, I hope everything goes well. I don't know that he'll play in the NBA again. I don't know that it matters. I did read he's going to get $10 million guaranteed out of this for them letting him go. That's enough money to live the rest of your life on if you're smart with it. And that's enough money to start an organization or a church or whatever you want to do with the next chapter of your life if it's not basketball. So, and we're not here either to tell anybody in the chat or any of our viewers how to feel. We're just expressing something that is topical and that is about Purdue and about something going on right now. And it's similar to the Tiger Woods situation. I wore this hat today for a bit I was going to do, but I didn't expect to go 2 hours, where I was going to take it off and say, just like Tiger Woods, I'm putting it up to go into recovery for the end of the season. But just a guy like that's been in the spotlight his whole life. He's a hero to everybody. And at some point you realize we're all just humans. And I think we're seeing that with Jaden Ivey. Tiger Woods, reckless. I mean, he deserves to be talked bad about right now because he's done this over and over. But he's still just a human being. We've put him on a pedestal. Same with professional athletes like Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey's a human being. He's going through something within himself right now, his relationship with his religion, and he's doing it publicly, which some people could say don't do that, but that's his choice, and he's allowed to do that. And he is just a man, okay? And he needs to be treated with respect, like everybody deserves to be treated with respect who's going through anything in their life. Yeah. Now, I'm not somebody who thinks you should go tell Tiger Woods you're a complete idiot, you're a bad dad, you're a horrible human being. He's going through stuff, and it is what it is. Yes, I am making fun of his drug addiction because Tiger Woods, of anybody in this world, has the money to hire a damn driver. Can we just stop going on the road? I don't care. Do all the rehab. Do all the drugs, Tiger. I don't care. Don't get in a car and drive and hurt people. That's it. You're hurting people. This is the second time now you've wrecked into somebody else high. Get over it. Stop it. Anyway, any final thoughts on any of that stuff, guys? Sorry, that's just crazy.
Rant.
This has been an episode of rants.
Rant.
I'm sweating.
Oh, that's hilarious. I got no fun. I have nothing left to say, bro.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. I don't either. I'm really proud of how our guys fought to the end. The second half of the Arizona game is not what I wanted to see as my last memory, but I can always just stop watching at halftime. Always just stop it at halftime and leave it there. Thankful for the memories they gave us. Your daughter want to say hi, Derek?
Say hi.
Joe. What up, Joe?
Say boiler up.
Ask
Spoiler
Joe.
up.
Ask where Jameson is at.
He was in the chat earlier. I think he got tired of
Where's
us.
Jameson?
She's just like him. Look at her. She's like, comes up to the camera. She's like,
Joe's the crazy one, bro. If you
This
meet
is-
her, she's a little wild, bro.
she is wild. She does backflips all the time everywhere.
We get along just fine.
Yeah.
We're both a
She's
little
dangerous.
wild.
She's scary, scary lady. Oh yeah, I did want to point out really quick. At some point, I haven't talked to him because I'm letting the sting wear off, but we will have PJ on to talk about these guys that are incoming, kind of wrap the season with him as well. I really am less interested in this most recent season talking to him, and more interested in what his plans are for the guys coming in next year. So I'm pretty excited to talk to him and kind of figure out what his thoughts are on that. But I did want to say thank you. This has been this has been like our second 2-hour show in the last 2 weeks, and I'll be honest with you, they're not gonna continue. This is just wrapping the season. Moving forward, there'll be a little less just only about basketball. To just be talking sports and talking to you guys. Cubs, golf, off-season stuff. What's going on in the rumor mill with portal stuff and all that. But we really appreciate everybody. There's been 10 plus people in here for almost the entire show for 2 hours, which is crazy. Some different people, some new people. So that's always exciting for us. Please hit the like button, subscribe button. I did last thing before we go here. I want to get your guys' both of your takes on the Final Four games. Who you think's going to win and why, and then who's got the national title going. So I'll start out with you, Blake, here. Who's going to win these two games? You got Illinois facing off against UConn in one of the craziest endings to a basketball game we didn't even talk about that I've ever seen. But yet it's an Indiana kid, so what do you expect? He's going to hit the shot. And then you got on the other end, maybe the greatest game in the NCAA tournament history could potentially be in Arizona and Michigan, two of the best teams I've seen in a long, long time. So who you got?
I got Illinois versus Arizona, with Arizona winning it all.
Like and subscribe, everyone.
Like
Sorry.
and subscribe.
She didn't tell me she was doing that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Dalton, who's your picks?
I didn't hear what you
want
said,
me to
Blake.
go? He said Illinois and Arizona.
Illinois and Arizona. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I got Illinois and Arizona, with Arizona winning it all.
Okay.
I'm going to go doubling down on the Big Ten, although I hate both fan bases that are involved in this. I'm going to go Illinois and Michigan, and I do believe that Michigan pulls it out.
So for me, it's easy to pick UConn. I know that that's unpopular, but it's Dan Hurley versus Brown Underwood. I mean, I don't need to really say a whole lot else. On the other end, it's the most I'm uncertain about this game to a level I've never been uncertain about a game. So I'll go with Tommy Lloyd in Arizona, make it to the national championship against UConn in a game that just disgusts me from top to bottom. And I'll go with Tommy Lloyd cutting down the nets. I just don't think UConn has enough to beat them. But third national title appearance for UConn, but they finally lose when they get there. So somehow I'll still have something to make fun of UConn fans for. Haha, you don't win every time you get there. That'll probably go over well. No, thank you everybody again. It's been an awesome season covering Purdue, our first time doing it. We've had a ton of support and had a ton of fun, and it's really been something that we started out as kind of like almost a joke, like let's give this a shot and see what happens. And it's really turned into like a lot of fun and meeting a lot of people. Like we saw Blake at a game. He's come on the show quite a few times. A lot of the guys in the chat, Rick is, but we both text him from our personal cell phones. There's a lot of stuff that's been really cool from this. We've got to interview some awesome people, a couple coaches, and it's just been really exciting, man. And I think now that we've gotten to this point, as these new faces and new players come in, it'll become easier and easier for us to get these guys on and talk to them as now we're getting more established and hopefully get credentials at some point. But just it also comes down to you guys and the people who watch us and make this all possible. It's been a surprise in a good way for just my mental health, for me having a hobby that I can do from home, that I don't have to like leave to go golf, or I'm not just getting drunk or whatever else it is. Like it's something where I get to enjoy my time with my best friend and with a lot of you guys, and truly do appreciate it. So I'll let Dalton say what he wants to say to wrap this season up, and just boiler up, and we'll have a lot more content to come.
It's always boiler up. Don't miss out. Like, subscribe, click the bell, because we're still gonna be with you guys till next season. So I want to thank Blake for coming on again, chatting
Hey,
ball
thanks
with
for letting
us.
me jump in, fellas. Appreciate it.
Love you, brother. Thanks for
Yep.
jumping on with
Big
us
time.
again.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna probably just try to do at least 1 or 2 episodes a week. So, whether that's if you like the Cubs, we'll cover the Cubs quite a bit. I'm a big Cubs guy. We'll cover some golf, but right now we're still in the basketball season, so there'll still be a lot of basketball talk and more hypotheticals, and us trying to finally maybe by the end of July figure out who we actually think is going to start on this basketball team or play minutes. So, yeah, excited for this, excited for the future, and thank you everybody.
Peace.
Peace out.